In today's video, we're going to create a complete 12-color watercolor wheel using just 3 colors from the Golden Core watercolor line. The 3 colors we'll be using are Hansa Yellow Light, Pyrrole Red Light, and Ultramarine Blue. Every watercolor pigment has its own personality. Some colors naturally create brilliant, high-intensity mixtures, while others produce softer, more subdued colors. I've already drawn a 12-section color wheel on watercolor paper. So let's begin by placing the 3 primary colors around the wheel. Our first color is Hansa Yellow Light. Hansa Yellow Light is a bright, transparent yellow with a fresh, clean appearance. It's often described as a cool yellow because it leans slightly towards green, giving it a crisp, lemon-like character. As I paint this first section, notice how luminous the color appears. Even at full strength, it remains transparent, allowing light to reflect through the paint and back from the white paper beneath. This pigment is wonderful for fresh foliage, spring flowers, sunlight, citrus fruit, and glowing highlights. It also has an excellent tinting strength, so just a small amount of paint produces beautiful, vibrant washes. One of the reasons I enjoy using Hansa Yellow Light is that it mixes exceptionally clean colors while maintaining its brightness. Next, we'll paint Pyrrole Red Light. I'll place it at about the 4 o'clock position. This is a bold, warm red with incredible brilliance and saturation. As I apply the paint, notice how intense the color is, even in a single wash. Pyrrole Red Light has a strong orange bias, making it an excellent choice whenever you want warmth and energy in your paintings. It's exceptionally beautiful for poppies, autumn leaves, cardinals, sunsets, red flowers, and vibrant still life subjects. Although it's incredibly bold, it also maintains excellent transparency, allowing you to build luminous layers without losing the fresh quality that's so characteristic of watercolor. Let's paint Ultramarine Blue, here at the 8 o'clock position. Ultramarine Blue has been a favorite of watercolor artists for generations, and it's easy to understand why. Unlike the brilliant intensity of Phthalo Blue, Ultramarine has a softer, more natural character. It's considered a warm blue because it leans gently toward violet. One of its most recognizable qualities is its beautiful natural granulation. As the paint dries, tiny pigment particles settle into the texture of the paper, creating subtle variations that add depth and interest to skies, mountains, rocks, and landscape washes. Notice how rich the color appears while still maintaining beautiful transparency. Now we have our 3 primary colors in place. Next, let's create our 3 secondary colors. These are mixed by combining equal amounts of 2 neighboring primary colors. Let's begin with orange. I'll combine equal parts of Hansa Yellow Light and Pyrrole Red Light. Immediately, you can see how vibrant this mixture becomes. Pyrrole Red Light has a strong orange bias, and although Hansa Yellow Light is a cool yellow, it's bright enough to produce a wonderfully saturated orange when paired with such a warm red. The result is a glowing orange that's full of warmth and energy. This mixture is perfect for autumn leaves, pumpkins, marigolds, sunsets, and warm reflected light. Notice how clean and luminous the color remains. Because both pigments are highly transparent, the mixture seems to glow from the paper rather than sitting on top of it. Next, let's mix violet. I'll combine equal parts Pyrrole Red Light and Ultramarine Blue. This mixture produces a deep, rich violet with a slightly muted character. Ultramarine naturally leans towards violet, making an excellent partner for mixing purples. Pyrrole Red Light, however, leans towards orange rather than violet. As those two color biases meet, they gently neutralize one another, producing a violet with wonderful depth and complexity. Rather than an intensely bright purple, we get a more natural violet that's especially useful for shadows, distant hills, storm clouds, rocks, and dramatic landscapes. You'll also begin to notice the beautiful granulation from ultramarine blue, adding texture throughout the mixture. Now let's mix green. I'll combine equal amounts of Hansa Yellow Light and Ultramarine Blue. Notice how different this green is from one mixed with cool blue such as Phthalo Blue. Instead of a bright emerald green, this mixture creates a softer, more natural green. Because ultramarine blue has a violet bias, a small amount of natural neutralization occurs when it's mixed with yellow. The result is a green that already resembles the colors we see in nature. Many landscape artists prefer these soft greens because they require very little adjustment before using them in a painting. This mixture is excellent for forests, moss, olive trees, meadows, and shaded foliage. Now let's complete our wheel with the 6 tertiary colors. These colors are created by mixing one primary color with its neighboring secondary color. Although they often receive less attention, they become some of the most useful mixtures you'll create because they help transition smoothly between the major hues. Between yellow and orange, let's paint yellow-orange by adding more Hansa Yellow Light to the orange mixture. Instead of using equal amounts, I'm using roughly 2 parts yellow to 1 part orange. Notice how the mixture immediately becomes lighter, brighter, and more cheerful. Yellow-orange is wonderful for wheat fields, golden flowers, peaches, apricots, autumn grass, candlelight, and warm afternoon sunlight. Now let's move to red-orange by increasing the amount of Pyrrole Red Light. I'm using approximately 2 parts red to 1 part orange. Watch how quickly the color becomes richer and more intense. Just a little extra red transforms the mixture from a cheerful orange into something much bolder and more dramatic. If I continue adding red, the mixture slowly loses its orange appearance and eventually becomes pure Pyrrole Red Light. If I instead add a little more yellow, it swings back towards orange. This back and forth adjustment is one of the most valuable skills you'll develop in watercolor. Red-orange is perfect for glowing sunsets, fiery autumn leaves, tropical flowers, embers, rust, and anything that needs warmth and excitement. Between red and violet comes red-violet. Here I'm adding more Pyrrole Red Light to our violet mixture. Since Pyrrole Red Light leans toward orange instead of magenta, notice that this doesn't create an electric purple. Instead, it produces a beautiful wine color, plum, burgundy, or deep raspberry. If I continue adding red, the mixture becomes warmer and gradually loses more of its violet character. If I add a little more ultramarine blue, the mixture cools down again and shifts back towards a deep violet. These subtle adjustments allow you to mix dozens of beautiful variations from the same two paints. This color is excellent for roses, grapes, berries, dramatic floral shadows, tree bark, weathered wood, and evening landscapes. Now let's create blue-violet by increasing the amount of ultramarine blue. As the percentage of blue increases, the color becomes deeper, calmer, and more atmospheric. Eventually, with enough blue, you'll return to pure ultramarine blue. You'll also notice that the beautiful granulation becomes even more visible because ultramarine is now the dominant pigment. Blue-violet is especially useful for mountain ranges, twilight skies, distant hills, and storm clouds, where you want richness without harshness. Next, let's mix blue-green by adding more ultramarine blue to our green mixture. Instead of becoming a bright turquoise, this mixture stays beautifully subdued because ultramarine naturally contains a slight violet bias. As more blue is added, the mixture cools noticeably. It becomes deeper, quieter, and more reflective. If I reverse the ratio and begin adding more yellow, you would see the mixture warm and head back towards green. The small adjustments allow you to create an enormous variety of natural landscape greens. Blue-green works beautifully for deep lakes, evergreen forests, distant trees, ocean water, and shaded foliage. Finally, let's paint yellow-green by adding more Hansa Yellow Light to our green mixture. Notice how fresh and vibrant the color immediately becomes. Yellow naturally increases the brightness of the mixture while reducing the visual weight of the blue. As more yellow is added, the mixture begins to glow with the fresh feeling of new spring growth. Just a tiny addition of blue can move the mixture back towards green again. Yellow-green is ideal for fresh foliage, new grass, young plants, sunlit leaves, gardens, and bright landscape highlights. Take a moment to look at the wheel. Notice how every section flows smoothly into the next. There aren't abrupt jumps between colors. Instead, each tertiary color creates a bridge, helping your eye travel naturally around the entire spectrum. One of the biggest lessons this exercise teaches is that color mixing isn't about memorizing recipes. It's about learning relationships. Every time you add a little more yellow, red, or blue, you're gently steering the mixture in a different direction. Sometimes just the smallest brushful of paint is enough to completely change the character of the color. As you paint more color wheels, you'll begin predicting these changes before they happen. And that's when mixing becomes intuitive instead of frustrating. This exercise also reveals the personality of each pigment. Hansa Yellow Light contributes brilliant yellows and lively greens. Pyrrole Red Light brings warmth, brilliance, and glowing oranges. Ultramarine Blue provides beautiful granulation, rich blues, and natural-looking mixtures throughout the wheel. Together, these three pigments create an amazingly versatile palette. And until next time, make art and have fun.